Well, I am so excited to be here with Marilu Holmes, the artiste of the century. Um, so, Marilu, tell me a little bit about your background. How did you go through all of the different experiences that you've gone through to get to this place where you're doing this fantastic installation?
Let's see. That's I have to kind of backtrack in history, but I think everything has started when I started believing that I was an artist, and I started kind of downloading all this information. I just every morning or almost every day I will just be in a quiet place alone, and self-reflect and journal. And that's how all the information came for this installation. It was very effortless, and the idea was very clear about doing this in a booth form, and the reflected idea of seeing ourselves and seeing others through seeing ourselves, and all this idea. Maybe we should expand on that, I guess.
I was going to ask,
Yeah.
yeah. So, what was your intention in creating this? What do you hope that viewers experience as they come and see your installation?
My intention is to inspire self-reflection. And that's hence the title of the installation, which is Reflected. Because we often point out fingers blaming others for our life circumstances. And
Absolutely.
what I found is through my life experiences is that it's always about me.
Mm-hmm.
It's so funny because you might think that someone is hurting you, someone is causing pain or suffering, and in the end it was all self-inflicted, and it's not so intuitive, and people don't see that very often, see themselves as the cause of their problems. So that was my inspiration to tell people, why don't you invite them, not tell them that this is right or wrong. It's just an invitation to see themselves.
But you know what's so interesting to me about it is that there's so many different aspects that you're stimulating in people in terms of, as we view art, everyone comes at it from their own perspective. But you've provided different elements to trigger people's responses because it's not just looking at a still image or even a video image, it's an interactive
Right.
experience with words, which trigger certain responses, with your own image, and also just this concept of being contained in this space.
Right.
So, how did you bring all those pieces together?
Oh,
Oops, sorry
that's
about
okay.
that. How did you bring all those pieces together?
Well, honestly, I cannot take credit for that. Is what I always say. It's a download of wisdom. To be honest, it just came to me as a complete idea.
Wow.
I know. It would be nice to say, yeah, that's my idea, but really, I was in a quiet space. I was available for this information to come to me, and it came almost like that.
But don't you feel that's what inspiration is? We inspire and take in these ideas and then we
Yes.
manifest them.
Yes.
But you took it to that next level of manifesting it.
Correct.
We have a lot of things that drift through, but a lot of people, as you say, aren't available to it.
Right, and not only that, it's not only being available in the moment when the idea kind of comes, it's also being available and finding the resources and understanding the timing. This idea came about actually 2 years ago, and I couldn't make it work in my schedule, my life, circumstances. It wasn't working. I tried. I contacted some artists and it didn't work. It didn't click. And then finally, kind of my life came to a point where the resources were there for it. So it's like having this project that you have the intention to make it, but I'm not pushing it. I'm not pushing it with a lot of effort. I'm simply say, okay, it's there. I know the idea is finished. I wrote it down immediately. The same with the meditation that people go through, because
Right.
that's part of the installation. The meditation, the guided meditation, that came all together. The whole idea, and I understand now how that works. The inspiration comes, you write it down so you don't lose it, obviously,
Right,
or
right.
record or do
That's
something
important.
so it doesn't get lost. Although I don't think it gets lost. I think it moves on to another artist, moves on to another person. It never gets lost.
It's
but
in that universal consciousness.
exactly. It lands somewhere.
Right.
So, but I wrote it down and I waited. And I understand that for the universe, time as we understand it is different. So,
Right.
for example, I can get inspiration for a book that is going to materialize in 5 years, in 10 years, because for the universe, that's nothing.
Can you identify in any way how that expression, I mean, you talk about the downloads, but I think people wonder, well, how does that happen? And how do you identify it? And how do you know it isn't just your ego talking? And
Right.
how do you get to the truth? How do you find that place?
Well, I think it's honesty with yourself. I think we cover up a lot of things out of fear. And I did for the longest time. I said, I really am okay in this place with my family, in this situation. I'm okay. I can get by. So that was a certain level of dishonesty with myself, first of all. And then when I started being more honest with myself, does it really work for me? I started asking questions. And that's the process of self-reflection that I find so valuable, and hence the title of this installation, Reflected, because really that's the power we have to change resides in that self-reflection, in that awareness. It's the only way we can change anything. Otherwise, we're just like puppies, like animals.
Right, we're like robots. And I think a lot of people fall into that.
Right.
They become robotic and they just accept, this is the situation. I'm not happy. I'm not productive. I'm getting sick all the time. All these terrible things are happening to me. But, this is my life. And you're right. It doesn't have to be.
And also, not only that, is also blaming. It could be people or even your life circumstance. It could be the weather. I mean, you can blame all numbers of things.
Right.
And that's precisely what I'm trying to inspire people, is to say, yes, of course, if there is a hurricane, of course, your roof is going to be wiped out. And yes, there is some power that you feel a little powerless against that, but very few things are like that. I mean, Mother Nature, I guess, is the only thing that you can't go against. But other than that, you are really, and I know this has been said how many times, how many books have been written about, you have the power of change. You have, but how do you have the power? And that's precisely this.
And that's the point, is how do you use that power? Look at what you have manifested in this amazing installation, and be able to give this gift to others, to begin to question those questions.
That's it. It's really asking questions, not even finding the answers. Because asking questions, it only kind of sets your mind into a different position. It sets your mind to wonder instead of knowing. I know this. That's the ego. That's the intellect saying, I know this experience already. I know exactly what you have to do in this case. Well, not really, because every person is so unique in their life circumstance. And that's why I'm not for recipes on how to on how to diet, on how to live your better life, how to, even though my title, I have a book and it says how to, but it's really about self-reflecting, inviting, what if, what if?
And tell me a little bit about the audio and what that provides as part of the installation.
Right, the intention of the audio is to place yourself in a relaxed setting. That's first of all, and that's why I invite people to breathe. And I kind of stole that idea from our common guru, and I did copy his technique of breathing deeply and being aware of the breath in and out, and kind of toning down the mind, because that's how it is normally. So I said, well, I have to do that first, and then kind of taking people into places to visualize things. And it's kind of it's a well-known technique to basically relax. And then I invite them to open their eyes. And perhaps I shouldn't say much about what's
No.
going to happen.
No, I think we should leave it to them. But I'm just wondering, how long do you expect a viewer to sort of be in that experience?
Well,
How
I
long does
put
it take?
precisely, I put a warning, and you're going to see it at the entrance of the installation that a 3-minute attention span is required. Because I know how it is. We're
Right.
always so super fast, and I am one of them. So that's why I put that warning, because just take 2. And it's funny because you think that 2-3 minutes is not much, but it is.
It's a long time.
It's a long time.
Especially in our culture.
Yes.
Because everything is moving so fast.
Yes, and you have, the texting is immediate, everything is instant. So it does require some, slowing down.
So were there challenges in actually creating the installation?
Actually, it was very easy, and I'm gonna expand on that, because that's how you know if an idea is coming from the ego or is coming from divine inspiration, let's call it. Is because divine inspiration is easy, is effortless. And I know, culturally speaking, at least for me, is not the most common thing. And this idea of no pain, no gain, right? I mean, how many of you guys know about this? And so I never took the route of easiness and effortlessness, or because I thought it didn't have any value,
Right.
just because. And I realized throughout this process that actually that is the path of least resistance, is the path of inspiration. So going back to your question, actually was pretty effortless. I found the resources. My husband, he's extremely resourceful. He's an architect and he knows about structure. So he knew in I'm gonna tell in an hour, it was designed. And that's how you know it's
Right.
coming from
Right.
divine inspiration, not from egotistic
Right.
pursuit.
Right. It's flowing with the current.
It is.
It's just going with the flow
exactly.
and allowing.
And allowing.
I think that's beautiful. So if there was just one thing that you would hope to convey to viewers, just summing it up in one sentence, can you do it? What would that be?
Live and self-reflect and live. Don't be
Oh,
afraid.
that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Thank you for joining us. Have a good day.